Craig.
Craig.
Hi, Craig.
Everyone lost their shit when I dropped this on them last night.
Oh, you test drove it already. Excellent.
I did.
Excellent.
I even have a method to upload it to YouTube. I'm still
great.
working out the kinks. I have a plan though.
Yay, I'm excited.
I'm going to try running OBS while taking notes on my iPad to see if that gets us a backup recording without my computer lagging terribly.
Mm.
Ooh, okay. Good luck, and thank you for your service.
I got this to spit out audio as a single wave file.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I needed it to. It just takes a little bit to process, which is fine. And I found a program that will let me take audio and then attach a picture and make it a video.
Oh, interesting.
I just need to sign up for the quote unquote pro version so I can make quote unquote movie length productions.
Oh boy.
It's like, this is not as complicated as you'll think it is.
No, it's just a voice file. All programs relax.
We are a production.
I mean, that's not wrong.
I just want to add a picture to some sound, please. Please and thank you.
Oh boy.
Okay, so who wants to talk about what happened last game?
So, last game was the family dinner episode. In which we got settled into our rooms at the Taldora family estate / Temple of Lathander in Baldur's Gate. Odessa encouraged us to go downstairs for dinner. We met approximately 6 to 6, 7, 8 Taldoras. Odessa and Hunan's many children, both biological and adopted, who really cares about that. Temple, I think, is probably elsewhere. But this is the converted bar, because everybody lives in converted bars these days. It's really cool. When it comes to plot progression, Nathaniel had some information, as did some of the other paladins. There's this place north of town. It's called the Fields of the Dead. Sounds likely to have some D&D significant plot areas, particularly the tomb of Strom the Fourth, King Strom the Fourth, not Strahd, Strom, which is supposedly guarded by 2 platinum dragons. That's probably just a rumor or a metaphor. Meanwhile, much to Ramiel's chagrin, Corinne is not single. But maybe there's a vibe between him and Erebus. She doesn't know. And what else happened? Aliana got to meet a lot of her new cousins. Grim had some really excellent invisibility shenanigans. We also might want to go to Candlekeep and do some research. All we've got to do there is to bring them a book that they don't already have. And I think there was another thing that I wanted to highlight. Oh, Erebus now knows, because Grim told her, that we are going to Karths because we need to go to Hell. No further details. And
told her a little bit. Baby steps. They're trying.
Yep. And there's there's a really cool bathhouse in Baldur's Gate. And yeah. And Hunan and Grim are going to be talking. At least Hunan extended an offer to talk to them about scribe-proofing.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Okay.
It
That's
is the events of, it is still the evening of Nightall, whoops, opening up the wrong document. Nightall 12. The
Nightall 12.
Endeavor arrives, we think, on the 14th or the 15th if it travels as long as we think it will and does not get sunk on the way. But based on yesterday's scry, so far so good regarding that sinking.
Okay. Yeah, I think after dinner wraps up, maybe Grigory and Sophia kind of hang out and chat a little bit, but most of the paladins head out. Nathaniel will give you all a bow, and then head back up to his room as he has more studying to do.
This was, so if I'm remembering correctly, in the last session, Hunan had said he was going to his office for a bit to do some journaling or something.
Yeah, office stuff.
Yeah,
just the office stuff.
just a little light office stuff before bed. And Grim had sent invisibly Bosun to follow Hunan because they don't know where this office is. And then Bosun came back, and then Grim, who is now visible and has been for some time, would like to casually would like to try to stealth, like stealth, not in the sense of like sneaky, but like to try to pick a moment when nobody's looking and slip out of the room.
Sure. Yeah, you all are getting attention, but not as much attention. There's definitely a conversation for those more alchemically minded to have with Sophia and Gregory, if you'd like. They seem to be talking mostly about healing. Gregory seems to be describing some new disease that he has come across, and Sophia is taking notes, extensive notes.
Great. Okay if I roll stealth to see if any of these crazy people in the party, I don't know, I can't remember if it's mathematically possible for me to escape. 19, total of 21.
So you're about to say nat 20s are always possible.
21. I have departed.
Yeah, Erebus, you've beaten her passive perception of 18, so she's just like, la la la.
Against all odds, beaten Corinne's as well.
Yeah. Pollyanna's getting kind of tired. She's listening to the conversation about the medical thing, but she's not totally paying attention.
Yeah, it seems to be some sort of skin disease, maybe somewhere between psoriasis and like a skin, like an infection. Like, it's gross. Like, they are having a very gross conversation, but it's a very clinical gross conversation. It's definitely not judgy. It's definitely like, okay, yeah, you know, these boils happen, and then
Yep.
Delightful. Grim doesn't think they're fooling anyone. Like they know that when people eventually notice they're gone, they will at least some folks will probably draw some conclusions. But who knows? Maybe they just went to bed. So yeah, they will follow Bosun's. They'll just follow Bosun, who will hopefully remember how to get back to the office.
Yeah, definitely. You approach an office. It's warm. It's kind of painted a nice, soft cream color. There's bookshelves in a warm tone. Wood like on the around you. On the lower shelves, they appear to be books made for children, and on the higher shelves, everything from fiction to various forms of nonfiction. So,
Any maps or globes visible?
yeah, there is a globe. It is definitely It's a little wobbly. Like, it's been spun a lot.
That's fun. And is Hunan like looking up as Grim walks in, or is Hunan pretending not to have noticed either?
Hunan has either understands Grimm's nature or has been briefed on Grimm's nature, and thus pretending not to notice as Grimm enters, in fact, reading over some papers in front of him.
Delightful. Grim pretends not to know that Hunan is pretending not to notice. We're just all going to pretend here. Bosun, on the other hand, turns invisible, lands on top of the papers, makes a loud, happy chainsaw noise, and would like to attempt to nibble the edge of whatever paper is closest and or most delicious looking, if some of them look more delicious than others.
Yeah, there's some like thick, heavy papers, and he's like, maybe not that one. And then he'll like go into the waste paper basket and produce one of a similar type, and try to trade Bosun for the paper from the waste paper basket.
Yeah, if it's the similar texture and toothsomeness, Bosun will happily accept this trade.
And it is rock shaped. So
oh,
because it's balled up
Bosun
paper. So
has not previously encountered somehow miracle of miracles. Paper's expensive, yo. This is new to Bosun. Is delighted and fascinated by this rock-shaped paper and picks it up in his bill and it begins strutting around Hunan's desk, like alternately nomming on it gently and sort of dropping it and like pushing it like you know how you play like soccer at a table with like the little balled up straw thing? He's doing that, but just himself with his bill.
Is he still invisible?
No, he became visible when he landed on the desk.
Oh, good.
As funny as that would be.
Hunan's just like, yes, this is the ghost I was briefed on, right?
And Grim, who is like 3 steps inside the door, but like if it's big enough, would still stay like just out of arm's reach back from the desk. You heard what I said, yeah? Earlier.
What questions about scrying and divination magic?
Yes. Not about it so much itself as how one can prevent it.
There's quite a few items in the world that will protect you against scrying. Are you looking to procure something?
I'm not sure yet, but I would like to know what the options are.
Well, there's a spell called non-detection. That will do it. Anything enchanted with that spell, therefore, will help you with that.
For how long, please?
It really depends. It could be forever, based on the item and how powerful an item is. If it's an area, if non-detection is cast a certain amount of times over a period of time, it will sink into the very stone itself and will give you some sort of protection in that particular area. There's also things called there's a spell called See Invisibility that would allow you to see the senses that scrying makes.
It makes a sensor. It is visible? Not visible, invisible. You said that.
It is invisible, yes. A lantern of
know.
revealing would have something like that would allow you to see the sense.
Grim sort of nods. And is there... So you're saying these are ways to know, except for the first one, are ways to know if someone is watching you. The first is the only way to prevent it?
Items like it, like the amulet of an amulet against detection and location, not they're uncommon items, but they can be found.
All right. And is there any way to get around them from a distance? I assume just removing them would work, but
Removing them, most of those items require attunement, so things like that. Any spell like see invisibility would, if you use, I don't know if you use some sort of illusion magic to cover it and make it less obvious that you're casting a sensor.
all right. I think that's helpful. Grim looks sort of unsatisfied. Not with Hunan in particular, just sort of like they did not get the piece of information that they were hoping for. But they're beginning to suspect that that's because the piece of information they were hoping for doesn't exactly exist. All right. And they sort of pause and look at him again. Being scryed upon, I understand it as to see one's immediate surroundings. Do you know of any way that one can be located beyond that? Beyond seeing and recognizing?
As in, like, trying to locate someone.
If one did not wish to be found, is there a way that someone could circumvent that? Find your location?
I'm sorry, I'm struggling with the levels of question you're asking. Yes, there is a way to prevent yourself from being located. Depending on the way you are preventing the location spell from working would affect how you can circumvent that protection spell.
So it's all the same. The protection would be generalized.
Unless you know the specific thing that is protecting them.
All right. Thank you very much. I have a different question. Also.
Mm-hmm.
If we needed, when the work here is done, we don't exactly have a way home. If we needed to get maybe back to Waterdeep or maybe somewhere else.
I might be
Do you
able
know
to
of?
scrounge up a wizard who owes me a favor.
Very good. Very good. All right. Thank you.
He nods.
Do you need that back? Pointing at Bosun's Rock, which he is currently has picked up and is. Does Hunan have any tchotchkes,
Yeah,
decorative
yeah.
figurines or
Yeah,
jars of
definitely.
pencils?
Jars of
Okay.
pencils. He's got, especially at the lower levels, you see a lot of handmade little creatures, things that you made in school. He's got knickknacks. He's got little Pinteresty foot pressings for each of his children. He's got a shit ton of children. He has a ton of memorabilia.
Oh,
It's
delightful.
just,
Okay. So I'm imagining that there is an area that has pictures, whether they are pictures of the family or pictures
Mhm.
drawn by small children
Oh
with
yeah,
varying
for
degrees
sure.
of ability, and he is effectively walking up and down the bookshelf in front of these, doing the tin cup rattling the jail cell bars trick with the paper ball, gently. He's not knocking things over.
Yeah.
He's just sort of enjoying the feel and the sound. And Grim points at the ball and asks if Huna needs that again.
No, nothing critical.
Very good. And Grim will snap their fingers to disappear Bosun. Snap their fingers again to reappear Bosun directly in front of them and grab him, expertly sling it on, tuck him into their elbow, and we'll just turn and walk out.
Mm-hmm.
and
Would
head
like
back to the and I think
grapple
realizes it.
both then.
Yeah. Do you want me to roll a grapple check?
No.
He wouldn't be resisting at this point. He is sleepy and
Yeah.
has his prize. Yeah, and Grim will try to find their way back to the room, the suite.
Yeah, easy enough. They're on the same level.
Delightful.
All right, Eliana, Corinne, Erebus, what are you up to?
Corinne is for sure having a wordless conversation with her eyebrows with Erebus about what the hell that discussion was with what's his name?
Ramiel.
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 Yes.
Incredible. Erebus does not know, or is very deliberately refusing to know what Corinne is getting at. And she just says, so Ramiel had some very interesting information about the Fields of the Dead, and I'll share it with everybody once we Grim left. Okay. Well, once we're all upstairs.
Corinne is not distracted by the reference to Grim's departure.
Yeah.
And remains fixed on Erebus. Oh, really? Really interesting things that we learned. Yes, quite interesting.
Oh, were you listening to the conversation?
I heard a lot of things.
What did you hear?
Meaningful eyebrows.
Erebus glances toward Eliana and then back to Corinne. Yes, he had a lot of very good information that I think will be really useful to us.
And do you think you'll tell him later about how successful that information that he provided is? Leans on an elbow, like chin in her hand.
Erebus is definitely like, this is a really weird question. But she says, probably it's polite to thank people when they help you.
Oh yes, polite. It's very polite. Yes, that's what it is.
I think she's referring to a little more than thinking.
Erebus looks at Eliana and then at Corinne and then at whoever is still at the table. Then says, you know what? I'm feeling kind of tired. I think I'll go read that fascinating book that I found earlier. And she exits the room.
Sweet dreams. I hope you sleep soundly.
I don't sleep.
Well, then how does one dream of paladins if one doesn't sleep?
You're the worst.
I know.
Are you guys having this conversation in the main part of the
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Sophia and Grigory have stopped having the exceptionally gross conversation about the skin disease and are just listening and grinning into their hands like, and now you see that they are in fact having a conversation with their eyebrows.
Incredible.
Corinne just sits back in her chair with her glass of wine, swirls it in satisfaction.
Erebus, I think you speak Celestial.
She does now.
That's
yes.
Fun. Okay. You hear Sophia and Grigory slip into Celestial, and with your passive perception, you hear this.
Sure.
I'm going. They do seem Ramiel's type. And Grigory's like, I don't disagree. And he just looks down at his drink and takes a big old swig of it.
Erebus pauses on the way out the door. No one can see her face, but she is beet red. And then she continues out the door. She's like, nope.
Yeah, Corinne just continues to look smug at the table.
Incredible.
Aliana glances upstairs, and then you can see her decide that she's not going to head up herself until
Probably
some sort of a
smart.
respectable time later.
Gregory and Sophia do switch back to common, turning the conversation once more. As Gregory looks you all over. So how is my little brother?
Which one?
And he motions to a height about Uriel's size, which is
Oh, that
not
little.
little, but he's a fucking Goliath, so it's little
Yeah.
to him. That's the joke. Is all of Uriel's brothers call him the little brother because he is, in fact, though 6 foot tall, the littlest.
Oh, buddy.
Busy. It is, he calls it blood season at the Court of Miracles. But he's happy.
Gregory nods. It is blood season everywhere, unfortunately.
Here too. Same reason, all of the adventurers who don't know what to do with themselves. Oh, right, you don't ask questions about why.
No, we ask questions about why. I'm not a Temple of the Raven Queen. I don't. I want to know why the fuck they are bleeding in front of me.
Yeah, see, I like to know these things too.
The Court of Miracles has developed a place in Waterdeep doing a very specific function. With the hospital, it is not nearly so precarious.
Yeah, I suppose you're not juggling all of the competing factions in the way that the court does.
Juggling's not so much juggling, so much as telling them they can, if they want to keep that eyeball, they will stop fucking around.
Yes. I imagine that they listen to that when it comes from you.
He kind of grins at you and nods. More healer than fighter, but not everyone needs to know that.
Yeah.
But blood season is blood season. I am sure you know adventuring comes with its own level of trauma. Of the spiritual and mental variety. And hurt people hurt people.
Eliana tilts her head a little bit. Trauma?
He nods.
All right. I
You
feel like
are
someone must have told me something about this, or that it should be easy for me to figure out, but it's not coming to me.
well, you have an adventuring group. So let's say they head into the mountains. If they are the good sort of adventurers, they find some sort of evil and attempt to dispatch that evil. Facing evil leaves scars.
Oh, yes.
Seeing your friends hurt leaves scars.
She's definitely not looking at Corinne.
Hell, some of them have been killed and brought back to life that leave scars. He doesn't fucking know.
No, sure doesn't. That's I love it.
At that point, Corinne just sort of like, you know what? I think I'm going to turn it in for the night. Lovely meeting you all. and sleep well. And I don't know if we'll see you all in the morning, but if not, have a pleasant rest of your evening. And takes her wine glass upstairs with her.
He looks. Let's see. Let me roll a paladin insight check.
That
looks
should be
confused.
fun.
He nods and goes, "Okay." He does not seem to at all have put together literally anything with that
Perfect.
3.
Oh,
Perfect.
buddy.
As he takes a swig from his mug. Anyway, some people deal with it by unhealthy coping mechanisms. Unhealthy coping mechanisms leads to danger. Danger leads to wounds on themselves or others.
Yes, I do know what you're talking about.
He nods. So you have a lot of people like that in a very small area, and he shrugs. Blood season.
Blood season.
And then you have arcanists fucking around and finding out, and then you have alchemists fucking around and finding out, and he looks at Sophia like he's definitely seen Sophia blow herself up at least twice. Sophia turns her back to him and is currently very busy behind the bar.
Let me tell you about the interns at Bones, actually. These are students of Bones and Reg. And one night they got drunk, and there was a succubus, and there was a unicorn, and there was a puddle of water, and we had to clean it all up.
He kind of laughs at that, shakes his head. But wizards.
Wizards. I don't understand them.
I don't either. The little cat is very fond of them, though. That and climbing people.
Yes. Quiche strolls by, seemingly summoned by the mention of that. However, if asked, she will deny it.
Yeah. Gregory will offer his hand for inspection. He does seem very fond of little cats.
Oh.
Quiche inspects, ponders for a moment, and then walks by him, rubbing his leg on her way to wherever she's going.
You notice Gregory is very gentle, almost because of his size. Like he seems very aware of his strength and his physique. So you see him kind of bend down and give Quiche some very gentle pats and gentle scritches on the top of her head before standing back up. He's definitely aware that he is, in fact, significantly bigger and stronger than most people around him.
Aw. So yes, Uriel is well. Michael is also well. Alina as well, of course.
I think I have only seen Alina not well once.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it at all.
Things were difficult when she first came out of the city of the dead.
Yeah. I thought that might have been it.
She was difficult when she first came out of the city of the dead, but
Well, now she has a bratty younger sister.
good. She always needed a younger sister, someone to check her a little bit.
Oh, can anybody check Alina, though?
I think you are up to the task.
Oh, well, I can certainly try.
So I heard she had a girlfriend now.
Yeah,
So
Say Chiral.
she is no longer pining over the cat. Tell me more.
No longer pining over the cat. So her girlfriend, say Chiral, gunslinger, and
A gunslinger. That seems
yes,
correct. Something about that seems very correct.
it does, doesn't it? Oh, and Alina's girlfriend has they've both adopted a child together.
Wow, that's a lot. I am surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. And so yes, we've traveled with Say. You know, she's quite capable. I don't know her yet as well as I would like.
Well, we will have to question her intently.
I'm sure you will. Maybe
No, I
not
mean
too.
we. She's going to be your sister's. She's your sister's girlfriend. It is your responsibility to question her intently.
Oh yes. Yes. Um, my responsibility, but I do think if you throw too many questions at her, I I would be nervous about that. I
Hmm.
I don't actually want to scare her off.
The jumpy sort, then.
Seems like it. I mean, not so jumpy. She is an adventurer. She is a gunslinger. That's not the type of thing to be.
Adventurers are some of the jumpiest.
Oh, we can be.
I love adventurers. I do. Great. But when it comes to being jumpy about emotional honesty,
Well, who isn't?
he shrugs a little bit. Takes a little bit of doing, a lot of trust. It is good to have a group to lean on.
Yeah, it is.
Family, found family.
Few different families of different types, maybe.
Exactly. One person cannot be your everything after all. That is very unhealthy.
It doesn't go very well.
Well, I promised Mother I would help with the littlest one, so he kind of raises his glass too. I hope you have a good evening.
I will. It was nice to meet you. I think it is my turn to go upstairs. And pleasure getting to know you.
Of course, I'm going to be about. I am going to spend the evening at home.
Very good.
The barracks are comfortable, but it is good to get a good night's rest in your own bed, away from work.
That bed sounds more comfortable than a barracks.
Mm. He'll give you a wave, finish his glass, and head upstairs to the nursery.
Elena waves too, and she goes upstairs in a different direction.
Like a particular different direction or just not that way?
Not that way. She's also probably the way to the suite is in a different direction, right? Elena definitely thinks it is.
There's definitely multiple ways to get there, and you could take a different one.
She does, in fact, choose to take a different one.
Alright, you all head to the room, probably arriving, staggered, of course, because some of you left literally after other ones did.
Yeah, I was just trying to just wondering if Aravis or Grim gets back first. I don't know who pieced out of their respective conversation earlier.
I feel like Erebus, then Grim, then Corinne, and then Eliana.
That's
Yeah,
fun.
that sounds correct. So Erebus, when she gets back to the suite, goes into the room that is hers for a minute, considers starting her trance immediately, then decides against it because her friend teasing her is whatever. And she instead grabs her book, goes back out to the chair she was using earlier, pretends to read it, pretends to be nonchalant. Everything is fine.
So she's probably settled in by the time that Grim probably arrives, like not too long after she's settled in,
Yeah.
but like she's been there for a minute. Can I try to insight to see if I pick up any vibes?
Sure.
That is going to be a 22.
Oh gosh, all right.
22?
I am gonna give that to you. Let's see.
Grim automatically tries to read any room they enter.
Yeah, but like, given that Erebus has 0 charisma, she's definitely not going to beat that. So, so she is, she's not really reading the book. She's trying to, but she's not really reading it, and she does look a little bit startled when Grim comes in, and then kind of relaxes, seeing that it's Grim and not anybody else. Oh, Grim, there you are.
Right at the sight of Grim feels like a.
I was gonna say that's a tell.
Yeah.
I think Grim stops dead 2 steps into the room, releases Bosun, who flies to the room, circles once around Erebus's head. Is Bianca present in this room, or is she on her perch?
She's here
Okay.
too. She and her coin are napping on the seat next to Erebus.
Oh, her coin. Okay. Bosun would like to land on the other arm of the chair, closer to Bianca, and make an inquiring chainsaw noise and offer the paper ball.
Ooh, okay. So Bianca looks up and notices the paper ball and tilts her head a little bit inquisitively, and then gently accepts it.
Bosun is going to try to swipe the coin.
Bianca throws the paper ball at Bosun.
Can I roll Slate of Beak?
I think it's gonna be an opposed skill check.
Delightful.
Sleight of hand both for Bosun and Bianca.
Okay. Oh goodness. All right. I am going to let's see.
15 for Bosun.
Let's do a d20. So that's a base 19 for Bianca.
Okay. So she throws the ball at paper ball at Bosun and covers the coin again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it's mine.
Bosun will, feelings utterly unhurt, because that's how he rolls, will make another accepting chainsaw noise, flap down to pick up the paper ball, and continue into the fanciest bedroom to begin making himself comfortable in the pillows.
Incredible.
Grim is just like eye patch and bangs, so she can't see, like she doesn't know where their eyes are. She can't tell where their eyes are, but their head is definitely pointed straight at her with attention.
I think Erebus knows enough by now to know when she is receiving Grim's attention, but maybe not know as how direct the gaze is.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hi, Grim. I was wondering where you were when the room was empty when I got here.
Were you?
Yeah.
Were you also reading?
Not for that long.
They nod approvingly. And will sort of cross to throw themselves again, sort of sideways across the same armchair that they were in before, and will start unlacing their boots. Do I want to know what happened after I left?
Probably not.
They sort of start to nod and then pause and look over at her again, continuing to unlace their boot. because it is bad for me or because it is bad for you? Tell the truth.
She thinks about
And
how
sort
she's
of
gonna
very
write
lightly,
this.
very small smile. It could be both.
No, I don't think it's bad for you, and I don't think I would say it's even really bad for me. It's awkward, but it's fine.
All right. And they'll return to unlacing their
Okay.
boots.
Erebus visibly exhales at not being questioned and pretends to read her book again.
And they throw one boot sort of across the room to land it next to the door. Awkward for you or awkward for someone else?
For me. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to roll an insight check to see if Grim can guess that Corinne was involved. Because I feel, if that feels, Liz, does that feel fair?
Yeah.
They have no idea what might have gone on, but anytime they, okay.
They know her well enough to draw some conclusions.
Yeah, that's a 16. They sort of unlace the second boot and throw that one as well. I'm not going to offer to have a word with her. You know that, yeah?
Yeah, and I wouldn't ask you to in any case.
You could ask, I would just say no.
That's fair. Ultimately, I don't think it's...
She doesn't mean it. I don't know if kindly is the word. And I was going to say she was trying to help, and I don't know if it's quite that either. But it's charming. You get used to it after a while. I don't know if that helps. Am I making it worse again?
You're not making it worse. No, you're more telling me what I already know and just haven't internalized yet.
They nod.
But I appreciate it.
When it's on your side, it really is quite valuable.
I'll keep that in mind.
Not always comfortable, but quite valuable.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Corinne's a good person. She just has a little bit too much fun with people sometimes.
They just grin and settle back into the chair, like sideways down, draping sort of. So they're like, again, sort of oozing down so that they're sort of laying torso flat on the seat of the chair. And I think they've said everything that they feel like they need to say at this point in time, and I'm just going to hang out. Is the dossier present? Well, actually, it's probably been. Corinne didn't leave that much long after, so they will be.
Yeah, Corinne will be
there
heading
for the
in
time
about
being.
this time.
Delightful.
Yeah.
Probably before Erebus can ask
What?
about hell again.
Probably.
Excellent.
So what is the book that Erebus has
It's
right
the
now?
wildlife book that has a lot of notes in it from Bones.
Okay. So Corinne walks in, glances at the title of the book, heads into Alina's room.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any books that are romance novels that specifically feature drow paladins?
Oh, God. Roll me a d20 fate die. Let's just see. Roll me a d20. I'm going to say 15 or higher, yes.
Okay.
Okay, 15.
It's a nat 20.
Oh, my God. I was going to say 15 to 18 drow paladins, but the paladin is a woman. With a natural 20, yeah, there is, in fact, not just a... You think that she might have picked it up specifically to tease Radio with it.
Incredible.
Because there is not a small likeness.
Oh, wow.
So Corinne goes into Alina's room,
and
browses
you know
the
that
shelf.
Actually, I'm going to say Corinne's passive insight, you know that she picked it up to tease Ramiel with it specifically because it is a hetero romance.
Mm.
Mhm.
And, you
Mhm.
know, like, ew, gross.
Yep. So
I'm going
she
to stop you at a mommy and daddy love each other very much. 'Cause
God bless Alina.
Great. So Corinne scans the shelves, finds this piece of art, pulls it off of the shelf, and without a word, says nothing. Just slides it onto the side table next to Aravis, with the cover prominently facing her, and then goes into her bedroom, looking very pleased with herself.
Aravis,
the shit stirring.
Aravis looks down at the book, looks toward the door, picks up the book, puts it face down on the table, and resumes reading the wildlife book, but not really reading it and becoming very bright red.
Yeah. Corinne, she does close the door behind her for the record. Does not witness
Yeah.
the fallout
Yeah,
of her
Grim can tell her
choices,
later.
but is confident enough in the sowing of discord.
I do know what Grim would do, but I don't know if Eliana gets back first.
I think the conversation with Gregory takes a little bit, probably longer than this
Okay.
chess move, whatever this is.
Grim was already thinking about going to get a book of their own. So is going to sort of watches this play out, looks at watches Aravis turn the book over, looks at the bedroom door, looks back at Aravis, looks up at the ceiling, and then kicks their feet off the armchair and stands, and will walk over and actually I think walks in. Who had the dossier last?
Probably Corinne.
Dossier.
I think Aravis would have given it back to her.
Okay.
She was also reading it pretty early on the voyage.
Okay. Grim walks into we'll walk into the bed, we'll walk over and knock on the door. It's closed.
In a voice that is like, it's trying for nonchalant, but like, let's be honest, there's an underlying current of vague triumph.
God.
It's open.
Do you have the dossier? May I borrow it? They will crack the door and peek in.
I do. Corinne is like sprawled on the bed in victory pose, like hands behind her head, like rolls over. I do. Reaches into her pack, pulls it out, does not move.
Grim will double check something. Oh, delightful. We'll probably end for the evening. Dimensioned doors next to the bed. The 10 to 15 feet across the room next to the bed. We'll take the book. Dossier, thank you very much. And we'll stroll back out of the bedroom, close the door behind them. Is going to take the long way back to the armchair and just pick up the book from the side table next to Aravis and take that to the armchair with them, and will lay down, resume previous lounging, reclining position across the armchair, and would like to look up. Is now finally going to read the section about Zilla the Shadow,
Okay.
which they intentionally avoided before, but now that they've met her, they've been thinking they should read it. So they have possession of the Drow Paladin book, but have not looked at it. They definitely looked at the cover, but no comment. And that's not what they're reading.
Incredible.
At this moment
Aravis has noticed that the book is gone, but has also similarly not said anything.
in time.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is when you come in, Eliana.
Delightful.
I would say slinking in, since you were very carefully trying to avoid. Seems like everyone.
She closes the door behind her carefully, make sure it's really closed. And I think, remind me who's in the sitting area right now?
Erebus and Grim
Yes.
and Bianca.
Okay, great. Oh, and I think let's just say Oleana has fetched Quiche just for convenience's sake.
Yeah,
Yay.
you picked her up on the staircase. Yeah, easy enough.
Yeah, so she sets the cat down, and leans against the wall. Right. Good to see all of you.
Oh, good to see you too, Eliana. Good chat after I left. You were there for a while.
Yeah, getting to know the family a little bit better. They got to know me a little bit better. I'm gonna have to be a lot more ruthless in order to keep up with them.
Do I need to insight check to see that Eliana's been through some shit, or is that obvious?
You know her. She's been through some shit.
Oh no.
A bit too well then. The getting to know.
Too well. It's like they know too much about me. Or they're just drawing conclusions that happen to be true. Either way.
Oh.
Oh, which one?
I feel like it's probably both.
I meant which one has the.
Oh, Grigori, the Goliath.
Very good. I will remain invisible around him at all times. Thank you very much.
Very-
I regret your suffering, though.
Oh, well, I asked for this. I didn't ask for this, but I asked for
Like visibly conflicted about whether or not to say something else. You did a bit though. I think.
Yeah. I have
I think
not
it's a
been
good
kicked
thing.
out.
I mean that's a compliment.
Thank you.
Yeah, and they seem to like you quite a bit. You were very confident at dinner today. I was really impressed.
They do, and thank you. I think it still went pretty well overall. But there's a part of me
Nods
that's going
agreement.
to yeah. There's a part of me that's going to be relieved to go fight something tomorrow. Only a
I think
part
we
though.
can all.
Are we fighting something?
Well, not necessarily, but you never know.
We can find something if you would like to find something.
Well, I have some information about that might lend itself to the likelihood of us needing to fight something. If Corinne would behave herself, she says with a raised voice, I'm happy to share.
Grim was just starting to hold up a hand and like laughing just a little bit. We'll say, I was going to say that ask if you wanted to hold that until the morning rather than summoning her to return to discuss the possibility of work and interrupt her victory rest. But it may be too late now.
I don't think it's going to make a difference. She's still gonna be just as smug about it in the morning.
Well, there is that, but you would
I
have
don't
a
think
reprieve.
that's.
The door opens.
She could find something else to be smug about between now and then.
I'm smug about everything at all times.
Grim points at her with the hand not holding the dossier.
All right. Do you want to hear what I actually heard from Ramiel, or do you want to tease me some more?
Please.
Thinks about, like, visibly thinking about it.
Yeah, Grim like opens their mouth and like draws breath to speak, and then visibly decides against it.
No, enough for one night. I can resume tomorrow. What did we actually learn?
So the Fields of the Dead have that name because there's a lot of ghost activity apparently. The fields themselves have been fought over for centuries. It's very highly contested land. So that would explain its being haunted, I think, at least in part. So we need to just be vigilant about the ghosts. If they appear but they're not attacking us, then we leave them alone. If they appear and they are attacking us, we can fight them. Also, the farmers may or may not have feelings about us being there at all, which is fair if they have to fight for their land every so often. And I think that was the sum total of it, but very useful to know, I think, going in.
No, that's good. Very good.
What did you mean to be asking? Because you got good information. So I assume you were asking about something else.
Ramiel approached me first.
Did
Meaningful look from
like
Corinne
visibly,
once again.
visibly
It
putting
was
some stuff
to
together
ask
now.
about you, actually, Corinne.
Oh, well, it's fair.
But we got to talking about the mission in the surrounding area because I had asked him what he does and how far from the city his work takes him, and yeah, he had some valuable expertise about the Fields of the Dead.
Well, there you are, Eliana. We can fight ghosts again.
Yeah.
Probably better now, this time.
Oh,
Probably.
magic also, he said, works on ghosts, and something else. I'm trying to remember what it was.
I think I shall bring the earplugs that you made for us, Grim.
To bed?
No, tomorrow.
Oh,
What?
I wasn't sure what you meant. All right.
No, of course not. No. Tomorrow with the ghosts. If there's any sort of screeching, howling, spooky, woo-woo nonsense, seems best to go in prepared.
That's a remarkably good idea. Are you planning?
I made one suggestion.
All right. As an exception. Very good.
Yes,
It was a very good one, though.
Was. Okay, so I remember now. It's magical weapons and spells. Fire works pretty well, so Eliana, you have that covered. And silver-tipped weapons, but I don't know if anybody
fire,
has
good.
those.
My rapier's
there
enchanted,
you
so
go.
that should be fine.
Done.
And we
Correct.
see if they're
Yeah,
hostile
we
first.
should gauge our behavior on their behavior.
Great.
Do you suppose they'll try to trick us? Ghosts do that.
I suppose anything's possible.
I guess probably being prepared for anything would be a good plan.
So
I suspect it might be something along the lines of, if they ignore you, then ignore them. If they try to lead you to a certain place, perhaps be skeptical and don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, so that's what I got. And then before she can think better of it. She said he also he also said if we need anything to feel free to go to the Temple of Saloon.
Shh. Does he think we'll need someone to come with us?
I don't know. That's
Does he think we'll need
he
something
just
else?
said if you need assistance.
With a pretty straight face.
Erebus shrugs with deliberate nonchalance and says, "I'm just repeating what he said."
Do you think we should ask if he wants to join us?
I suppose it wouldn't be a bad plan. She is visibly being like, this makes practical sense. There's no real reason I should care, even though apparently everyone else seems to think that there should be. But it's fine. It makes sense.
Grim would like to try to insight. Actually, you know what? Grim's not going to try to insight. Grim's going to drop into awakened mind to Erebus. If you're actually uncomfortable, please, I don't know, give me a thumbs down.
She glances their way and just smiles and nods in appreciation, but she does not give the thumbs down.
Delightful. They will continue to, still in awakened mind, they will say, well, now I've forgotten what I was going to say. If you were still having a good time, I'll let you know if I remember.
She nods again and
That's
smiles. She appreciates Grim and their effort. So yeah, I'm then she turns back to Corinne. Yeah, I'm open to the idea.
It feels like they're strangers, but I keep having to remind myself that they're not.
They are.
Well,
like mildly horrified.
It depends on your definition of strangers, I suppose.
Only to me.
They're still strangers, though.
They're still a little bit strangers.
There's a knock at your door.
Grim cast invisibility on themselves.
Good saving that spell slot, kid.
They know.
Well, Eliana's going to get up and she is going to go to the door. And
yeah. Open the door?
Yep.
I assumed that was what you were going to do, and then I realized that you all are you, so I should not just assume that y'all are just going to swing open the door.
Always.
There's a young girl there. Anissa stands in front of the door. She's wearing a nightgown. She's wearing like big fluffy socks that don't match and are definitely have been patched in various places. And her black hair has been pulled down into 2 braids. Seems like for sleeping. I left my bunny in here.
Hi, Anessa. What room did you leave it in?
Alina's room.
Okay. You can come with me and we'll get the bunny together.
Okay, thank you. And she will head into the room. Opening the cupboards, she finds a kind of like a little hidden latch, swings it open, and pulls out a stuffed bunny before closing the compartment and heading back up. Thank you very much. I'm going to go to bed. I'm very tired.
You're welcome. Sleep well. I hope your bunny sleeps well too.
He will. He's been hiding all day. Sneaky, sneaky bunny.
Maybe he'll sneak attack somebody.
She gives you a big grin. You notice that one of her front teeth is missing. Like she has recently lost it. It was not missing earlier. And she
Behind Eliana at the sneak attack comment, Corinne rolls her eyes.
He is a very sneaky bunny. And she's going to dart off into the hallway. I feel like I should clarify that, given
Yeah.
that it is Inessa
Correct.
Taldore.
Eliana will close the door.
Well, that was too adorable for words.
There's a secret compartment in Alina's room.
And there was nothing in it but a stuffed animal? That seems unlikely.
It does seem unlikely.
Corinne is on her way to
Incredible.
investigate.
Yep. Yeah, sure. Roll investigation check.
Okay. 24.
24. The secret compartment. So you swing open the secret compartment is open. Like Inessa grabbed her bunny and left. And it does seem just big enough to like hold maybe a child of Inessa's size. So clearly she was either playing hide and seek in here earlier or had some sort of plot that didn't work itself out. Forgot her bunny. Maybe made some conclusions about who actually was coming.
No.
But with a 24 investigation, you find a secondary latch on the compartment on the back of it.
I would like to open it, please.
Sure, you open it. It opens, and it's like a little window. The lattice work heading down from it. This is basically like a little secret exit.
Ooh.
That's interesting. There's a secret doorway. Well, not doorway, but secret route. There's a secret passage.
Well,
in the
that's more
secret
like
door.
it. Where does it go?
I suppose we'll find out. And immediately begins climbing in.
Do you want company?
It's just out of the house into the front yard.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not the front yard, a side yard.
Okay. So as she kind of like sticks her hand out into cool night air. Oh, that's very cold. It's just outside. So if we wanted to leave without being seen. Oh, Alina, that's we're gonna talk about that later. But yes, if we wanted to leave without being seen for whatever reason, or invite someone in without them being, well, I don't want to say without being seen because the small ones seem to be very alert. But we have an alternate exit.
That's good to know. They audibly have a bad idea expression, but no one can see it.
Has the tone of their voice betrayed it?
Monologue token. Monologue token on
Incredible.
Grim. I'm using my DM powers.
Well, that's one way to avoid future dinners, I suppose, and lunches and breakfasts and cocktails hours and really being seen at all. I wonder. I will ask her later if there is shrubbery at the base of whatever ladder she has found. I will not ask that now. She will laugh at me either way, but at least only she will laugh at me. I don't really mind if the others laugh. That's all right too. Just it has been a day. I still have that rum. And Grim gets up and walks into the bedroom. And comes back with the rum from the haversack and lays back down on the starts to lay back down on the armchair, pauses. Is Eliana still like leaning against the wall?
So she had been, I think that after showing Inessa out, she followed everybody into the room. in order to take a look at
Oh,
what was
that's right.
going on. And I think now she's just kind of hovering in the middle of space somewhere.
All right, Grim will walk out with the dossier tucked under one arm. They would also have tucked the other book under the same arm, so they have both books under one arm, the bottle of rum in the other hand. Will walk up
Are they
to
still
Eliana
invisible?
and hold out the bottle of rum. You look like you need this. Not all of it. Oh, they are. But they have forgotten. So they are standing in front. They. We're not sneaking. Your passive would certainly pick up their footsteps and then their voice. But you sure can't see what they're holding out, I guess. Thank you.
Look like I need what? And Eliana kind of reaches into the space and moves her hand around like she might find like she's kind of trying to find something in the something right in front of her that might be invisible.
Yeah, Grim will sort of steer the bottle of rum into the path of her hand, but holds on until and unless does not let go unless it looks like she has a grasp on it.
Yeah. She accepts the bottle of rum, and at whichever point it becomes visible. Yes, thank you. And she takes a sip from it and hands it back in their general direction. Actually, maybe I shouldn't give this back just yet.
No, give it back, please. You can have it back again in a moment.
Okay. She does extend it in their direction for them to invisibly pick up again.
Which they will. It becomes invisible. They pad over towards Erebus and extend it to her. Again, invisibly. Now you. If you want. Not if you don't want, but you look like you also might want.
She fumbles a little bit, but manages to get the bottle and takes a sip and hands it back. Thank you.
Very good. Come in, we're drinking rum. And we'll pad back over to we'll throw back a swallow themselves, and we'll pad back over to Eliana. Here you are. Make good choices. I will want it back. I know how much is in there. Do you need reading material?
There
Still
were some good
Eliana.
choices there were some good choices in Alina's room. Speaking of good choices.
Right. I'll keep it then. Grim will leave Eliana with the bottle and pad and return to the armchair to resume reading the dossier. They are keeping one eye on her rate of rum consumption and will intervene if she attempts to leave the room with it.
Eliana takes another
Otherwise,
sip of the bottle. Takes another sip of the bottle and extends it to
Erebus
her.
takes it again, raises it to her, and takes a sip. Are you okay?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm just recovering.
Erebus
Yeah.
pats the chair that's next to her.
Eventually they will be
Erebus just pats the chair that's next to her as an
Sorry.
invitation to let Eliana sit there.
Eliana does in fact sit there.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Sorry about that. I think she says eventually they will be more family than
Yeah, they will.
strangers.
But you did a good job. Erebus hands her back the bottle.
Thank you. And I'm sorry if I pushed you too far today.
Oh,
Who is that directed towards? Oh,
Pair of us.
it's all right. You didn't really do anything. Yeah, everything's fine.
Monologue
I knew
token
that was
Erebus.
Okay. Erebus is mostly thinking to herself, well, this is certainly not how I was expecting today to go. But it's fine. Corinne's probably reading too much into it. Ramiel's a stranger right now. He was very nice though, but he was definitely interested in her at the start of dinner, so I don't really think there was anything there, so it's fine. She can think what she wants. And that's the monologue.
Delightful, thank you. What does the outside of the secret door look like? Like it's a ladder,
Sure.
you said?
Yeah, it's a lattice. It's
Lattice.
like
Okay.
a lattice with some vines on it. It leads down. There's a little bit of cover at the bottom. There is shrubbery. Grim, I'm sorry.
They don't know yet.
Then there is probably it's a side yard. It's not like a huge side yard. It's I don't know, let's say 2 driveways wide of
Okay.
like just greenery, and then there's another there's a wall. It's not terribly tall, probably 6 or 7 feet tall, like just a brick wall. Just a walled-in garden side yard area.
Does it look like any of the bricks in the wall have been used for climbing purposes?
Are you going to go investigate it, or are you trying to perceive it from where you're at?
I'm gonna go look at it.
Okay. Yeah. You could definitely climb this.
Yeah. Glances at it. I do want to. This is what Corinne wants to know. How worn of a trail exists between the climbing bricks and the lattice?
Not at all worn.
Okay.
I don't think she was here enough for it to be like a thing.
Okay. Just curious. And I think that's all she's really cares to know, and we'll return back into the space eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Closes the 2 secret doors leading out to the lattice. Well, easily scalable wall outside. Rather nice yard. It doesn't seem that this doorway sees much use. There's not much of a path that's trod. But it's there if we want it.
Easily scalable for you, or easily scalable for us mere mortals, please?
I don't know. Easily scalable.
All right. We'll find out.
Well, so that's my room.
Oh. Would you like it to not be your room?
No, I think I'm all right. But if anybody sneaks in, I'll holler for all of you.
Very good.
I do have some ball bearings that I can scatter in the space if you'd like some additional defenses.
I feel like that might have unintended consequences. Although, like, head turned back towards Eliana, you can fly.
I can.
Suit yourself.
And I can teleport a little bit. So I think I'll be all right.
Erebus is looking between them, wondering if she has not yet had enough rum or if she has had too much rum. Well, we don't think anybody would sneak in through there. Corinne said hadn't seen much use.
Yeah, I think it's not likely. I think Uriel's just rubbing off on me a little bit.
I also have this, and Corinne pulls out a vial of oil of slipperiness. I can put this
What?
on the lattice if you wanted additional protection.
Have you just been? Do you just carry that around?
You never ask.
Like again,
I-
opens their mouth, closes their mouth, determinedly buries their face in the like not literally, but like is like I am reading this dossier now. We are not having this conversation at this moment in time. Oh, they're invisible, so it doesn't matter if they're blushing.
I love that they're still invisible.
It would have been a 22
Incredible.
deception though, so their voice is steady. Not that they're speaking.
Yeah, Corinne just continues to address the air. It's fine.
I think that could also have unintended consequences. Really, I will be all right.
All right. Well, you know where to find me if you change your mind.
I do.
And then I think Corinne heads back to the bedroom.
All right.
Grim's just gonna
Elliot,
drink
it's
rum and read this dossier for a bit.
Eliana, I think, is going to retire to her room and write a letter and then go to
Erebus will
bed.
go properly trance now that she's not actually hiding from anybody.
She's doing great.
Oh, wait till the morning.
Good.
This is fine. Everything's fine here. How are you? Anyway, so Zilla the Shadow,
Yeah.
a child born in a long line of demon slayers. She was orphaned at the age of 10 when a mysterious fire engulfed her house. She emerged untouched, but with a mysterious necklace that she refused to take off. From there, she bounced from house to house, extended family members, friends of the family, but it did eventually make her, she did end up landing in absolute poverty. At that point, she actively made the choice to become an adventurer. She's one of the few, she did not have adventuring thrust upon her. She just was like, I'm just, fuck it. This is the life of an adventurer. I'm going to be an adventurer. And set off to Cormyr. She registered to be an adventurer. She did some not well documented adventures in Cormyr before returning to Waterdeep with a sword. The sword is notable because it is absolutely known as being sentient. It is listed
Ooh.
as a sentient sword.
That seems fine.
It is the sentient sword is named Alfred.
That's not how I expected that sentence to end.
Yeah, I know.
I love it.
Alfred was said to make a lot of sarcastic comments, and Zilla often fought with Alfred, calling him a grumpy old man. He could be very mean. However, also possessed helpful information, which he could be persuaded with, parting with. It said that he and Zilla was often seen talking to herself, making very barbed and sarcastic comments to her sword. And then getting, it seemed to work for her.
Does it say whether the sword, whether the sword spoke audibly or whether like this
It
was
did not speak
okay.
audibly. Most of the reports are self-reported. The quote in quotation marks is Alfred is a salty bastard.
That's fun.
And she called her sword a grumpy old man. Yeah. She is. Give me a moment. Map of the Sword Coast. Let me just pull up my notes.
Delightful. I did not expect a sword named Alfred, and I'm so happy. Corinne has a thing for warlocks, huh? Like those dark, mysterious types.
Apparently.
She doesn't
Who
know.
knew?
Grim knew.
Oh. Very much so. Imagine Jocelyn, but he's a sword. Sorry, my notes are insufficient. It is said that she went missing far to the north in the Lurkwood.
The Lurkwood?
The Lurkwood.
That's quite a name.
The circumstances around her death are not well known. She did not tell her comrades that anything beyond "I am going to the Lurkwood. I will be back in a few weeks," and she never
Okay.
returned.
Interesting. So she did say she would be back. At least according to this, it sounds like she intended to return.
According to legend, yeah. The vibe. I'm going to say the real life correlation vibe is Amelia Earhart.
That's fun. Okay, and the Lurkwood, is that a part of the High Forest, or is that is that farther north?
It's way far north.
Okay.
Um,
All right. That's fun.
The Lurkwood
Yeah.
is near the spine of the world.
Oh, Grim is also a little bit in love now. They would like to go near the spine of the world. They don't think anybody else in this group wants to go near the spine of the world, though. Interesting. And does the dossier say anything about Alfred ever turning back up?
Alfred has not turned back up, as far as Bones is aware. Bones makes a note in the dossier that she has done. She asked Reg about Alfred, which is a very famous sword, and Reg's area of study is up for debate, but it does seem like, judging by Bones' tone and her notes, he does seem to have some expertise on ancient rare artifacts, and she says Reg has no clue. Alfred has not turned back up in any writing whatsoever.
Delightful. Interesting. Yeah, I think that's all. And anything about Zilla's gate? Anything pointing to? Oh wait, no, we know where where that one is because
Yeah.
it's the one that was we think, assuming the one that we think was unlocked is the only one that has been unlocked. We think Grim thinks they know where it is, so they're not going to be looking specifically for that.
Yes.
So whether they're correct or not, we'll find out at some point, maybe. Fabulous, thank you. That is all. So Grim will eventually finish reading that while drinking some rum. Like they're not getting smashed, but they're definitely like a little tipsy by the time they finish, probably, because it's been a day. And then we'll trundle off to bed and probably have some stuff to say, but I don't know what that is now. So yeah.
Okay. So everyone wakes up in the morning. Anyone particularly early? Doing anything special in the morning?
I think Grim probably wakes up as usual shortly before sunrise, realizes that, like, sits up in bed, realizes that there's probably no way to get to the kitchen without encountering many Taldores. Realizes there's probably no way to get to the, like, they like sneaking through Eliana's room and leaving through the thing to make coffee in the side yard on their little camp stove. That would be weird and creepy. Thinks briefly about making coffee in the sitting room on their little camp stove, realizes that with their luck in this house, given how things have gone so far, they would probably accidentally set something on fire. That would be bad. Swears in Elvish and lays back down. Goes back to sleep.
Erebus is finished prancing by this point. I mean,
It's been a day again already, and it's not even 7 a.m.
Erebus has finished trancing by this point and is probably back in the sitting room reading to finish up her proper rest. Maybe heard the Elvish swearing, was like,
Okay.
weird, and goes back to it.
Eliana, I think, gets up. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I like that Erebus is still has very quickly learned what Elvish swearing is worth investigating and what is not.
I think a little bit later, Eliana gets up. She puts a little bit more effort than usual into her appearance today for a day that is going to be a working adventuring day. Her hair looks a little nicer than usual, kind of like she's still trying to impress people. And then she gathers things into the bag of holding. She doesn't pokeball quiche just yet, but she does pet and play with quiche a little bit, and then she exits to the sitting room.
Okay.
Corinne is the last to wake up, but because it is a work day, it is not by much. I think she's up by like 8:30 probably, but definitely still spends a good like 15 minutes just lounging in that space between being awake and being upright. But then does eventually, prep herself and head into the collective sitting room. Whether or not Grim beats her there is a separate question.
I think if it's Grim is in no hurry to leave this room in particular and the suite in general. So Grim probably apologizes several times for not having breakfast.
Why on earth would you have breakfast in the suite here? There's nowhere to make it.
I know, that's the problem.
No, it's just to be expected. I have this, and she pulls out the magic coffee jug.
So you're all right for now.
Oh yes.
And I will owe you breakfast.
Well, I will need to eat something, but
I don't know how I'll deliver on breakfast when it's not as if there are days when I don't provide breakfast other than this one. I suppose I'll bring you 2 breakfasts someday. When do you expect it?
We can negotiate.
We can, and will, and have, and will continue. May I have some of that?
There have been days, she passes the coffee jug over. There have been days when we've done overnights at other places where others have technically made breakfast.
They are giving her considerable side eye. They don't think this is true.
She just kind of looks a little bit smug.
They are like leaning, like the coffee flask in one hand, leaning over the bed, and they have, to be clear, they have been reading the Drow Paladin book while waiting for Corinne to wake up. So that is probably face down. Was probably face down on their stomach when they start talking, when they put it down to start talking to her, and now they're like rolling towards the stretching over the edge of the bed to retrieve their little box of sugar cubes from the haversack.
She glances
And
at the book and she's like, I see someone had some light reading going on this morning.
Well, Heather, is this book any good?
Oh, roll me a d20. Roll me you roll me the skill check for the author.
So it's 12 on the die.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's pretty standard bodice ripper stuff. There's nothing. It's not problematic in any way, which you definitely would have expected when it's a drow paladin. They seem to have avoided most of the really problematic tropes. It's definitely like I would say the tropes are. It's definitely like an enemies to lover, but it's not enemies so much as like mild dislike. Of like, two people having to travel together with wildly different personalities, but they come to appreciate each other, sort of deal.
With a sort of as they sort of lever their torso back up fully onto the bed with the box of sugar cubes in their hand and a 19 performance straight face. It reminds me a bit of you. And will open the box of sugar cubes, set it on the nightstand, like take 2 out and sort of hover them over the open neck of the coffee flask.
Don't you dare.
And they'll just grin and pop them into their mouth and then take a swig of coffee and hand the flask back.
She snatches it back and kind of shields it with her other hand. I know you wouldn't, but you wouldn't, you monster.
No, I might is the problem. I would like to think that I wouldn't. But I think you and I both know that well.
I think from now on, I will insist that you drink from this from a cup.
That seems to be in everyone's best interests. Would you like to go fight some ghosts?
I would, actually.
And we get up and go out to the sitting room.
Yep.
Oh, good morning.
Okay. Heading out to the sitting room.
Good morning.
Morning.
Where's Bosun?
Where is Bosun?
Isn't he? And Grim will look over their shoulder. Is Bosun not in the bed, not snoozing on a pillow somewhere?
You know what? Roll me a wisdom saving throw for Bosun.
They assumed that Bosun was in the pile of pillows that Corinne had assembled, because that's where he usually is. Let's find out. 21.
Oh, damn, Bosun.
Yeah,
pillows.
you see a little beak peeking out of one of the pillows. You might have climbed into a pillowcase. Its pillow.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, he's right here. They will return to the sitting room. He appears to have become one with the pillows to an even greater extent than usual. He's there.
Corinne visibly looks relieved. Oh, good. We certainly would not want him. Well, making friends is not quite the right term, but there's been enough spook ghost terminology talk after last night, and I don't know who all from the household is still here, and the paladins are very about ghosts and things, so
well, we'll just let him sleep then. And whatever happens after that is what happens after that.
Well, you're not going to bring him with us?
Oh, I meant in the house. Are we leaving soon? They look hopeful.
I assumed so. The more time we have, the more we can take a look at things and scout things out before we have to confront the ship.
I think we're not planning to linger much eat, get going.
We could
I
acquire
wanted
food on
to
the
see
way.
if
We could.
yes, I was.
And we were going to stop at the
ask
Temple of
Odessa
Saloon, right?
If we could get directions.
Right. So onward, and Corinne will head towards the door.
Onward.
Grim will return to the bedroom to scoop Bosun out of the pillowcase and carry him still snoring after the others. They will not be invisible.
Fair enough.
They're going to conserve those spell
Who knows
slots.
how many short rests are going to be possible today?
Fair enough.
Yeah, so down to the kitchen / wherever Odessa is, I guess.
Yeah, Odessa is in the kitchen. You see her, she's cooking. Looks like some, like a breakfast. It looks like, I don't know, for lack of a better term, breakfast burritos.
Yum.
Yeah. She's definitely making like a flatbread and then a wrapped situation. Looks like you all are not the only ones taking breakfast on the go today.
Morning.
Oh, good morning. It's she kind of wipes her hands off on her apron. Would you like breakfast before you leave?
Yes, thank you.
I assume you are heading out. You look like you are heading out.
Yes, please. Smells wonderful.
Yes, please.
There's waxed linen there for to carry it if you would like to keep it for later. Otherwise, please have that. I believe Gregory is coming down with Matty in a moment, so
Wonderful, thank you.
Grim
I got
is
some sleep
walking,
last. I got
moving
some sleep
very
last
softly
night.
and
Yeah.
unobtrusively, but will go to collect a breakfast burrito.
I got some sleep last night, so I managed to put together a little
We
bit
very
more
much
breakfast than I
appreciate it.
usually manage.
Much appreciated.
It smells wonderful. I
Well,
don't think I've
thank
ever
you.
had such a thing before. And it's just, you just wrap it up and you take it. It's genius.
Grim is staring at her.
Eliana is also staring a little bit, and then she stops.
Rich people things.
Grim has definitely made breakfast burritos.
Oh gosh.
Like canonically.
Corinne has forgotten.
She doesn't remember. They must not have made them
Incredible.
twice.
Oh my god, I love it. Oh my
Yep, absolutely does not remember ever
I
having
love
these
her
things
so
before.
much.
First time
Amazing.
ever.
There we go.
Clearly the
So
first
then
time ever.
Erebus collects her breakfast burrito and then says, how do we get to the Temple of Saloon from here?
Oh, it is not that far actually. Oh,
Map.
map. It is most of the temples are in High Hall. You'll find the Temple of Saloon near. Let's see. So you'll want to head around the bay towards the west. It's a bit of a hike, but it's not too bad. You're city people, so I don't think you will find that too difficult. Near the Citadel
Great,
Gate,
thank you.
you'll
I
find
appreciate
the
that.
Temple of Saloon. Of course. Do you need anything else for your travels?
I can't think of anything. Can any of you?
No, I don't think so.
Grim shakes their head.
How well do these keep?
Fairly well.
Corinne makes herself a second one for the road.
Bosun wakes up enough to flap out of Grim's elbow and over to attempt to perch on Corinne's shoulder, but he can't do that because he's a puffin. So he just sort of teeters and then topples and flies up and makes a pitiful chainsaw noise looking at the breakfast burritos.
She taps his bill and says, not this one for you. And then she kind of glances at the offerings and takes one of the flatbreads, rips it in half, and then makes 2 smaller breakfast burritos and offers one to Bosun.
He noms it up happily.
And she wraps up the second one and saves it for later.
Yeah, Erebus will also make up a second breakfast burrito for later. Thank you so much, Odessa. We really appreciate your hospitality.
Of course. Heunan mentioned that he was going to reach out to Gale in the town to see if he could perhaps get you
wonderful.
faster transport home.
Please thank him for us.
Gale is a bit of a pompous dick, but he can be relied upon
Wonderful.
for such things.
I was going to say it's good to have those sorts of people in your life, but not if they're pompous dicks.
I mean, I don't. He rubs me the wrong way. I do not mean to say he's a bad person. He just wizards.
He thinks very highly of himself for what seems to be a bunch of nonsense that doesn't have any practical use.
Right, exactly, wizards.
I understand.
Aliana will procure some food for Keish.
And Erebus also makes sure Bianca gets fed before they head out.
Okay. So Bianca isn't hoarding the coin so much. Like its newness is starting to wear off. She's definitely keeping the coin with you, but she's gonna
perfect.
bury it in one of your pouches, and then go to adventure. Seems like when it was new and it was shiny and it was hers, like maybe it was a bigger deal, and now it's like, okay, it's fine.
Bosun will remember this.
Like a small child who's the newness
Erebus
is starting to wear off of his newest toys.
Smile at Bianca and then tell her in Draconic, yeah, I'll hang on to that for you. Thank you.
She will chirp back.
Erebus is about to die of cuteness. Perfect.
Aliana's eyes get big.
Yeah, we can take a 10-minute break here.
Yay. Yeah, she
Bianca
said
can
thank you.
speak.
Wait, Bianca spoke?
Yeah. It was so
She
cute.
said a sound that sounded very similar to repeating thank you. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like that unclear if she's
learning
speaking or babbling like a baby learning to speak.
I
Or
love
like
that.
a bird mimicking things,
Excellent.
but it was very cute.
Some combination, all of those
Right,
things.
see you then.
Incredible.
Delightful.
Okay,
All right.
see y'all in 10.
Okay, I think we're just waiting on Liz, and then we can get going.
See what awaits us how in the city of Baldur's Gate. Whether it is more or less terrifying than what awaits us within the home of the Taldores. Individual mileage may vary.
Well, we survived that, It's fine.
So far, we have at least one more night.
True.
Maybe 2, maybe more, who knows? Grim doesn't want to think about it. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Yeah, Grim hasn't even heard about Gregory yet.
We had a little bit. They asked it was not an accident that they were asking which one seems to know too much and be able
True.
to see too much.
Fact. That is
They don't know the full scope of this, but anyone who can unsettle Eliana is not someone Grim wants to get anywhere near. That would be very bad for their aesthetic. So we'll see how that works out, I guess.
Correct.
Okay. Heading into the city?
Yep.
Many of you with breakfast burritos?
Delicious breakfast burrito. Indeed.
Yep.
I really want one now. But all I have is this cucumber salad, which is very good, but a very different food style.
But it is not a breakfast burrito.
Yep.
What's the weather like today, DM?
Ooh.
Rainy. Rainy and cold. Cold. It's like that. It's not. It feels like it should be snow because it's cold enough to snow, but it's rain instead.
yeah.
And the people who live in the north know what the hell I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That like one drop gets in your clothes and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, for
Going
sure.
back inside. None of this.
So it's another grateful for the long coat day.
Grateful for the long coat day. Another wonderful day in Baldur's Gate. There is a reason that it is. Yeah, it is constantly wet.
Delightful. Grim is in their oil
Erebus
skin,
is wearing
hunched
the
down
coat
with the collar
from the
turned up.
first boat from Captain Bill.
Okay.
Captain Bill.
Yeah.
Captain Bill. Never forget Captain Bill. As you head off across the city, heading to the Temples District. Is it called the Temples District? I think it is.
High Hill, I think you said.
High Hill, yeah.
Oh, Temples. Oh, it is High Hall in Temples. Huh.
High Hill in Temples.
Well, that's truth in advertising.
I think Heather misread it more than Odessa misremembered. So it is the Temple District.
Delightful.
I just can't read because it's
fair.
6:30 is early, y'all.
Sure is.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys take off across the city. It's a bit of a hike. Not gonna lie, it's a bit of a hike. It's basically across the city, almost exactly. Odessa might be underestimating the amount of walking that her children are willing to do in order to come have dinner when summoned. But that's just mom stuff.
I was just gonna say, are there any like hand carts or anything, like people that are like street carts or like small transportation vehicles?
Not on this side of the thing is once you get to the sort of place that would have such a thing would be the wide.
We're almost there.
You're almost there. Because Heapside is you guys are in the lower middle class area. The sort of place where no one's going to spend that much money on the luxury of not walking. Also, a lot of people here aren't traveling across town.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Corinne pouts a little bit as we get into the part of the city where that does become more visible.
Do you need to be carried?
Are you offering?
Usually.
She puts her hands on their shoulders from behind.
They will give her a
Erebus
piggyback
is
ride.
used to
the rest of the
walking
way.
and is fine, so just kind of
Delightful.
turns back at the both of them and just be like, "We're almost there."
That's the sort of thing that you say on a long trip to keep the children from revolting and murdering each other.
But it
Also,
never
the sort of thing
Erebus
say on a long
laughs.
voyage to
Are
keep
two
the
of
crew
you
from
in danger
mutinying.
of mutiny?
You don't know.
What's mutiny. What does it look like? What legally distincting a definition of mutiny? What is required for a mutiny?
I believe a mutiny is somewhat like a coup. A voice comes out from behind you. It is, in fact, Romeo himself.
Was not expecting to see him outside of the temple. She had put him in a mentally compact space inside the temple and was preparing for the moment. and is visibly startled.
This is where you go.
Good morning.
Good morning. You see he's wearing his armor. He's also got a cloak over his armor and kind of pulled over his head. And the wet one it is.
Yes, we were.
You are heading
Correct.
to the temple, I assume.
We are on our way to the fields of the dead, and we're hoping you didn't have plans for today because we could use your expertise.
I
Erebus
am at your
quickly
service,
turns
and he will give you
away.
a very courtly bow.
Insight check. Insight check. Corinne would like to read some vibes.
Sure. Insight check. Insight check
Oh,
away,
no.
you paladin. I'm sure.
27.
27. Damn, that's good. Oh, that's bad. He has a really good charisma because he's a paladin, but that was still a 5.
Oh, buddy.
He's being friendly. He's definitely being friendly in Aravis's direction. Like y'all's general direction in general, but also kind of more like he's talking to Aravis is like Aravis is kind of being the face at the moment when it comes to him, at least.
Oh.
So
Erebus nods back,
Delightful.
gives him a thumbs up, and then quickly averts her eyes because
Carry on.
she feels like she is blushing again and she hates it. So.
Oh no. Okay. I have no plans. I would have to just report in and let
Sure.
you know what was going on.
We can
on
walk
your
the rest
mission.
of the way to the temple with you. While you do that,
Of course. Do you all have
no.
have you rented horses yet, or some sort of transport?
No, is it far enough away that we need horses?
I'm sure it's not that far.
I would defer to the expertise of the local.
It'll be faster on horseback. Let's see. Let me pull out my map. Let's see. Let's let the map do the work for me.
So nice when that works.
It can be up to 2 days
Oh,
travel
alright.
on foot. One if you take a horse.
Yes,
we
should
absolutely don't
probably
take a horse then. We
also
don't have
pick up
time.
some rations for the trip before we leave the city.
I can get horses from the
I'm
temple if
not
you
picky.
all are not picky.
As long as you have horses, do you have horses that are good for all experience levels?
They're well trained. I would not hesitate to put like a Nessa on one of them. Sure.
Would you mind if I took a look at them? My family raised horses, so I have a good sense of temperaments.
Okay, of course. And he's gonna have this conversation as he's
Mhm.
walking towards the temple. He's starting to pick up speed even.
Yeah. Corinne will dismount from Grim.
I love this conversation is happening as
That would put her. Grim is definitely like has been since like that after the learning how far away it is has been like sort of staring at the ground very quietly, like they are resigned to their fate.
Yep.
They're not sulking; they're just resigned.
Yeah, she gives him a couple pats on the shoulder as she comes down to the ground. And then we'll follow to inspect the horses, and we'll assign them out to the group once determining the personalities and temperaments, as if everyone gets their own based on their personality. Like, imagine like a personality quiz is happening.
Yeah,
and she is assigning horses based on that.
So
I love that.
So he brings you to a set of basically a large stable even, which seems to like you get the feeling that this is like a shared stable amongst all of the paladins because there's definitely like certain symbols on various stalls. And a lot of them, not a not insignificant amount, do appear to be horses with the symbol of Salune on the stables or on the stall themselves. There are, I would say, maybe 7 horses total. Most of these appear to be. How do I put this? These are war horses. In that they are large and can carry a fully armored human or a Goliath with not breaking a sweat. They are also not easily startled. They're very mild temperament isn't quite the right word. They are not feisty though. They are very steady, very reliable. Like they have been trained to fight.
Yeah.
Or
They've
to
been
have
trained to
someone
follow
on
orders.
top of they've been trained to follow orders. They've been trained to have someone on their back doing frankly ridiculous things.
Yep. Checks out. All right. So under the guise of
and all very large.
Yes.
All very large. The Temple of Selene ones tend to be black horses.
So still under the guise of like assessing personalities, Corinne will select 4 that are amenable to this process. And then we'll assign them out accordingly. Like the smallest of the big horses, which still is going to be a big horse, But the smallest one she will give to Grim. With under the pretext of like, but it's very mysterious. Do you see how its mane flops just in the right way?
Grim had started to like mutter a very sincere thank you, sort of under their breath, knowing she could hear, and like they stop halfway through the U. I would say you're laying it on a bit thick, but thank you for that as well.
Your commitment to the aesthetic is admirable.
Actually, as you all have been there a little bit, picking out a horse, a familiar person arrives. Grigory comes in with his basically leading a horse himself. It's very similar to the temple's horses. This one seems to be a different color though. This one's horse types of horses, types of horse designs.
Horse designs.
I know words.
I love it. To be clear, I love it.
I'm sorry, what did I just miss?
Heather is Googling designs of horses.
Oh, fabulous.
I believe I Googled the exact words I Googled were types of horse designs.
That's fun.
But it got me what I was looking for. A dapple gray horse.
Oh.
Is brought in by Grigory, who is far too big for this horse. I mean, it's definitely similar in size to the other horses. It's definitely a war horse, but Grigory he's a Goliath. He definitely did not ride this horse here, though. Ramiel gives him a grin, takes the horse's reins. Thank you. Grigory kind of waves him off. Right, be careful. Take a medical kit with you, please. Lay on hands is only sufficient to a certain
Thank you,
point.
Grigori.
I am going back to the hospital.
Grim is even quieter after hearing that name.
Grigory will give you all away before heading back to the hospital.
Leanna waves back, and then she turns to Ramiel. I am still a healer.
What? Sorry, you were really muffled.
I'm sorry, probably Cat. I am still a healer.
He nods. Yes, Grigory worries. He's a worrier. You wouldn't think that about him, but when it comes to patching people up, he's probably next to Uriel as far as that goes.
No, I would think that.
He looks confused, but nods.
Oh, that's very nice.
Anyway, I asked him to bring my horse.
Giving Uriel as a standard is very helpful for us. We're all very familiar with his temperament. Yeah.
The old man.
Is it okay for us to have the horses for multiple days? The temple won't need them?
He nods. I'll ask the head of the paladins.
Thank you.
I said it's okay.
Oh, you're the head of the paladins here.
At least in my temple, yes.
Fair enough.
Besides, we could borrow horses from another temple if it's
okay. That sounds good then.
If they are needed.
Much appreciated. Probably. I don't think any of us were
said you needed more supplies, rations, things like that.
But we'll definitely need to pick up something if we're going to be out there for that long.
feel like I don't have rations in my inventory, but is it reasonable? I feel like Grim, who was always carrying the haversack with them anyway, and like probably has some issues with access to food /
Yeah, I
this
feel
being
like
a comfort thing
Grim
now.
would
Probably
definitely
has like a couple days,
yeah,
whatever.
probably
Like
at least.
yeah.
Oh,
I have food.
oh, of course. Oh, I should have thought of that. Sorry, thank
It's
you,
not
Grim.
fine dining, but it will certainly serve.
Oh, I have some too. Look at that.
Do you have food or do you have wine? I have wine also, but I also have food. Which do
Well,
you?
it depends on how you're defining food. I have some jerky and hardtack for 5 servings.
That's very good. And not to go let the dogs back in. Grim looks impressed though.
It's only practical. One never knows what one is going to get into.
Okay, then yeah, I think we're
And
all
there is
set.
some hunting on the way.
Yeah.
You see him move to there's like a podium kind of next to the door of the stables. He makes some notes on a logbook there and mounts his own horse and will lead you all out of the city.
Do these horses have names?
Not yet.
Delightful.
They will.
Perfect. Love that.
They certainly will all be moon based.
Oh, I was hoping for another Heather.
You're gonna have a comet. Let's see, you got an Orion, of course, because life is not confusing enough.
Orion is the new Heather.
Orion is your brother.
Yes, good.
Pluto. And no, not that one.
Perfect.
Fuck it, let's just go full and Aluna.
Luna.
I love that.
Delightful.
Yeah.
Ramiel's
Nice.
horse is named Rhea.
That's
Ooh.
fun.
Okay.
And as you all head out of the city, we're gonna call it for tonight.
Nothing is wrong with that at
Going
all.
on an adventure, gonna sleep at the fields of the dead.
It's
totally-
fine.
So
Fine.
Excellent.
So
I don't know if
fine.
that's actually where we're gonna sleep,
Good
but
game,
we'll find
everyone.
out. That's fun. Delightful. Thank you
Yeah,
all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
What a good time.
Such a good.
I think we bonded a little bit over teasing Erebus.
Over Corinne being a little shit.
I mean,